Why was Gandalf afraid of the Balrog? The reason why I ask this is because Celebrimbor and uh, the Woodland Elves, I think Celebrimbor was a woodland elf. At any rate, any elf, but during the time of Celebrimbor, the elves were attacked by a whole bunch of Balrogs, right? And I think Celebrimbor fought one and killed it uh, and died alongside of it. Celebrimbor was, like a boss elf. He was that dude. So he took one on by himself and he killed it and he also died beside it. I think. I could have the wrong elf, but I know that one of the major elves uh, died fighting one of these things. But nonetheless, he killed it. So, with that in mind, you know, Gandalf is one of the I think it's one of the five that was sent there by the I don't know the so-called gods or the leaders. But Gandalf is not a human. He's one of the five wizards that was sent there, and I don't know all the wizards' names, but I know it's Gandalf, and I know it's the one who rides. He has the rustabout rabbits. I don't know what his name is. And then there's the one who betrayed him, uh, Saruman. Then there's shoot, I think there's two more in there somewhere. But nonetheless, so they're not human, right? They were actually created by these gods to kind of lead the people, right? So uh they're special and they can fight these beings. You know what I mean? But why was Gandalf afraid of a Balrog? Like one. This wasn't like the king of the Balrogs. This Balrog didn't have a name. He wasn't like Lord Balrog. He was just a Balrog. Like, would Gandalf be afraid of what was the chick that was the spider that was eating people? And she she pretty much in the stories would like gorge herself, to a ridiculous amount. She got really huge, and I think one of the elves was like not one of the elves, but one of the wizards. They were starting to get afraid of her because she was becoming too powerful. But nonetheless, I'm just saying, compared to all the other beings, why would Gandalf be afraid of the Balrog? You know what I'm saying? A servant of the light. Why would he be afraid of it? Just that one Balrog. This is for my nerds out there. It's 3 o'clock in the morning and I can't sleep. But I was just thinking about that. Like I know Gandalf can beat Celebrimbor. We know he can beat the Woodland Elves. Uh, he could probably hold his own against the woman who was the queen, and she was gonna take the ring and all this other stuff. And we know that there's probably no elf that can take him. There's probably no elf that can take Gandalf. So why was he afraid of something that the elves could beat? Somebody explain that to me. Explain that to me. And why didn't Gandalf take the ring to have it destroyed? Like, Gandalf knew the Lord of the Eagles, right? He knew the Lord of the Horses, the white horses, the Lord of all horses, well, whatever. He talked to animals, right? Gandalf talked to animals. Gandalf knew about Treebeard. He knew about Treebeard. He knew about the Ents. Why didn't Gandalf take the ring to was it Khazad-dûm? Why didn't Gandalf take the ring up there? Why did he send why did he send the two? I know that they're thieves and you can't notice them because they're so small. But nonetheless, Gandalf in all his power, why didn't Gandalf do it? I'm just wondering. Because the way the books explain Gandalf and the power of these wizards is not the way Peter Jackson displayed the power of the wizards. See, the power of the wizards, they're a lot more powerful than what's displayed. But when it comes time to show their power, they don't. They don't. Gandalf didn't really show his power. Okay, so when they were trying to walk over the pass and they were walking over the snow, right? And then Saruman knew that they were trying to take the pass over the hill, right? So Saruman sent an avalanche. An avalanche crashed down on them and it blocked their pass to go over the hill. And so they turned and said the only way we can get to where we need to go is if we go through the mountain. And Gandalf was afraid to go through the mountain because he knew there was a Balrog there. He knew the dwarves dug too deep and they dug so far down that they reached the home of one of these creatures. And Gandalf was afraid to go there. Why was he afraid? Why would a servant of the light be afraid of a Balrog? See, it just, when it comes time for Gandalf to show his true power, it's just like, I don't know, it's like they didn't want to do it. And I don't know why. Why did Gandalf go from Gandalf the Grey to Gandalf the White? Did that make him more powerful? See, after Gandalf fought the Balrog, he fell. He fell from the mountain, right? And they fell. When he fell, he stabbed the Balrog in the chest, right? This is in a mountain. This isn't a place where the Balrog came from. So they fell, and then he laid there for days until his mind came back to him. And when his mind came back to him, he got up and he was seen in the woods by uh, Aragorn and by Gimli, and they thought he was a bad wizard because he said, "Don't let him look at you; he'll cast a spell on you." But they didn't know it was Gandalf, and then Gandalf didn't know that he was Gandalf the Grey at one time, and it was like, "We thought you were dead." He was like, "You're Gandalf the Grey," and he said, "I Gandalf the Grey." He says, "I'm Gandalf the White." See, something's missing here. Something's missing when it comes to Gandalf. Why would he not know who he was? And because he was Gandalf the White, did it make him more powerful? Was it some type of ascension? See, and it was they see, it makes me think that the Balrog, his biggest fear, was a test that he needed to become more of a greater wizard. It was some type of rites of passage. This what is starting to make me think, like, this whole thing was set up so he could become greater than what he was. Because remember when he was captured, when Gandalf was captured, he got into a wizard fight with Saruman. Saruman was, or Sauron, or whatever his name was, the White. Was Saruman the White greater than Gandalf the Grey? See, there wasn't really a hierarchy. There was really a position. Each one of the five wizards were placed in a position. They were guardian of something. And one wasn't really stated to be greater than the other one. But they each had a position because they were supposed to fight against evil. So I don't know. It just, I don't know. I don't know. And when you look at Sauron and why he became evil, he wanted the power that Celebrimbor created, right? And then he became evil because he wanted the power that Celebrimbor created. But he told Celebrimbor to create this power. So it's just convoluted when it comes to a power ranking, and it just made me think: why would you be afraid of this Balrog? What was it about this Balrog? And then it made me think: why would you be afraid to ascend? That's really where it boiled down to. Was Gandalf afraid to ascend to the next level? Was he afraid to fulfill his position? See, with great power comes great responsibility. That wasn't only a great quote that came out of Spider Man, but it is also true when it comes to these characters. And maybe Gandalf did not want to be, or did not want a certain responsibility because he was used to being kind of like a vagabond. He came and go when he wanted to. Remember when Gandalf came into the Shire? Uh, was it Bilbo? Was it Bilbo? It wasn't Bilbo. It was I forgot the character's name, but he says, "You're late, Gandalf." When Gandalf was going to see Bilbo, he was like, "You're late, Gandalf." He said, "A wizard comes whenever he means to." So Gandalf didn't really like, or didn't answer to any earthly person. He liked going and coming whenever he wanted to. But Gandalf had a responsibility, and he might have been shirking his duties until he was forced to become Gandalf the White. If Gandalf would have never fought the Balrog, he would have never became greater than what he was. He would have always been the wandering Gandalf the Grey. And Gandalf the Grey was losing battles. He was losing them. If you really think about it, Gandalf was losing battles when it came to creatures that were on his level. He was an unsharpened sword. But he was sent there to do a duty, just like all the other one. And then when you think about Saruman, he was also sent there to watch the Twin Towers. He was sent there to watch the one tower and make sure he had an army ready in case the other tower rebelled. Right? And he shirked his duties. He became a traitor. And then when you look at uh, the Queen, she was one of the five. She almost took the ring and said, instead of having a king, you'll have a queen, strong and powerful. So she was getting ready to shirk her duties. And then she said, I will retire and go into the West. So she was leaving her post. And then you had the one wizard that rides around with the rustabout rabbits. You hardly ever saw him. So basically, these beings that came down and were supposed to keep order didn't want to keep order. They didn't want to do what they were supposed to do. They were only doing what they had to do until the threat came and they all had to come together. All of them had to come together. Because if they didn't, they would all died. They were forced to do what they were supposed to do from the beginning. I don't know, it's just a thought, but why would you be afraid of the Balrog? Why would you be afraid of that Balrog? That particular one.